What's up, guys? JP here with the Leprechaun Fantasy Workshop. We're going live to talk about liquid chrome, these awesome pens. I'll give you a boom, liquid chrome. How they can really take your modeling to the next level, how useful of a tool they are. I've recently discovered these a few months back, and I used to do a huge process. If you're a model car builder, these are a lifesaver. If you're a Gundam builder, these are a lifesaver. If you're if you're doing like miniatures and stuff, if you're trying to do metal and really make it pop, these pens are just awesome. It is really, really useful, really, really helpful, and so easy to use. So we're going to get into it. I want to actually show you guys how they're using it, and not just be like, oh yeah, these are whatever. So let's flip over the camera. I'll show you guys how it works. So I've got my awesome Peterbilt semi-tractor trailer that I built a while back, and I did, if you can see like the windows and all that kind of stuff, let's get a little zoom in on, a little zoomy zoom. So you can see in the window wells and all that kind of stuff, and sorry, the glare of it is throwing it off a little bit, but you can see in the windows and the windshield, I did all that with a liquid marker, with the liquid chrome pens. Now, what I used to do is, and I will zoom out here, and I will show you what I used to use. So what I used to use is this aluminum foil tape, and I would cut off a little piece, stretch it over, and then using an X-Acto knife, I'd apply it to the area, and then I'd have to sit there with my model and try and cut, and to get it perfectly smooth and look like it was, a perfectly molded on piece of the model. And yeah, pain in the butt. It was a very nerve-wracking process. Didn't always work. I'm using the X-Acto knife on something that I spent, days painting, because I'm painting with enamels, and yeah, it just doesn't work that way. So what I found when I was at my local hobby shop is I found these markers. These are all made, and there's a link in the description of the video if you're on the YouTube. But these are Molotow, just like the Molotov cocktail, hilariously enough. These are Molotow paint markers. They also do make actual colors as well. So this is a colored acrylic marker. And I have a ton of these. They're made in Germany. They're awesome. But I use the colored markers for detail and stuff. Maybe I'll do a review of those later. But today we're talking about liquid chrome. So one of the things that I always struggle with is on my models, when I built these models for trucks and stuff like that, you get these beautiful chrome pieces, right? But every time I got one of these models, you have to cut them off the spruce, and a lot of times the spruce will be in a spot. For instance, if you can see on the underside of here, the mold lines are often in between the spots, and sometimes it's visible, just how it falls. And that drove me crazy, because whenever you cut those spruce parts off, even with the best cutters, sometimes you would nick the chrome or something like that, and now you have a big gouge of plastic showing, colored plastic, and it's just, oh, sorry, focus, come on, there we go. It just wasn't fun, right? Another cool little detail for I used the chrome markers there as well. So for my hoses where they would actually be metal, it was just an easy enough go in there and color it with a marker. That was it, and it just looks like it looks like it's metal. It doesn't have the same effect as paint. So anyways, yeah, these markers are outstanding. So even though I want to say this model's done, it's not. There's details that I wanted to do, and when I was doing it the first time, I had a big fat marker trying to do the window edges, and that freaked me out. So what I went and did is they have a bunch of different sizes, and I didn't look at this, but yeah, so this is what I did originally. I have, it's kind of like a felt tip marker, but I wanted to be able to have something that I could do real fine details. So there's a really fine point. If you can see that, come on. Someday you'll want to focus. There you go. There's a fine tip point. So, using this, if you can see my door latch here, and let's zoom in. So I've got two door latches here. I've got one here, and I've got one here. What I can do with this marker is just very lightly rubbing across. And I can color in the door handle. Now I did totally miff up a little bit there, which is okay. We're gonna fix that. Bear with me 1 second. It's all the proof, guys, that even when you work as much as I do on models, you screw up sometimes. It's okay. They're not mistakes, they're happy little accidents. What I'm doing right now is I have these little, these little, it's got like a little sponge at the end of it, and then I'm going to go in with a Q-tip and just try and get a little bit of that excess marker off. Now, with any other paint job, I'd be worried about doing this. But I am not worried when I use... There you go. All better. I use the MCW paints. Let me show you here. I know I've talked about them excessively. MCW finishes. These things are outstanding. And they can just take a punishment. If you use the hardener, I'm not going to purposely attack my model, but I'm not worried. Normally I would wear gloves. I don't feel like I have to wear gloves anymore when I'm handling my models, just because I can wipe these things off with a fine rag, and I never have to worry about it. Alright, so we're going to get the other handle. This time I'm going to look a little bit more carefully. I don't want my head to be in the way so you guys can... But that's my struggle. I don't know if my head was in the way, and if it was, I'm sorry. But yeah, these markers are awesome. They're very easy to use. It's going there with a fine touch, and you can do a whole bunch of really great detail work without all the headache and that kind of stuff. So we're just gonna get the other door. Boom. And guys, like I said, it's easy as that. It's just a, you want to take your time a little bit. You want to, grow accustomed to using it, because it does throw out the chrome really quick. But it's overly not. It actually, like I said, makes what I had said in the description. It makes model making this part. It doesn't even make it nerve wracking anymore for me. It makes it fun. I am not worried about doing these kind of parts. And like I said, I mean, there is obviously I messed up on the first one a little bit. They're somewhat forgiving. I don't want to say super forgiving, but somewhat forgiving that I can do those detail pieces, do them quickly, do them efficiently, and it's not overly difficult. So there's that. I mean, that's the truck. I wanted to grab a couple pieces so you guys can see. So this is part of our 32 Ford build. And now there is a window roller that's supposed to go right there that I actually have a molded metal piece that will be going there. And I will be using once I clean up the metal of that piece, I'm going to actually use the chrome, or not the chrome, I'll be using my Molotow black marker to do the handle, for it's a roll down window because it's a 32. The electric windows weren't that common back then. But I can do the actual interior door. It just adds so much more detail to my model. Because if you're a person who's looking at this model, now I don't want my head to be in the way, but at the same time I do need to look at this. There you go. Now I have a lovely interior door handle. Now you can see where the window wound up is going to be. I haven't cleaned that part up yet, so I haven't decided to install it. But yeah, and then I'm going to go in, before I install that, I'm going to clean up these lines. And by clean them up, I actually mean I'm going to add some liquid black tint to give them more detail, so it looks like they're not just, there's definition to them. So let's do the other one. And like I said, we're adding so much detail to this, but I don't have to tape anything off. I don't have to worry about, like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this or like that. It is just as easy enough as me pulling. I keep these pens in my modeling trays, easily accessible every single time, just because they're so useful. Now the one thing is, because this is a three-dimensional object, I do need to do, this is a little bit of a tricky part. There you go. You can actually see it shine while it's trying to locate it. It's just so easy to use these pens and to get detail. And you can get, I mean, I've got big old fat markers too. I mean, I haven't used this one before yet because it's just so big. But, and it obviously I haven't used it because it's white. How you work this is you actually press it down and the chrome will flow into the marker, but I don't really care to do that. But and then they just come in different sizes. So I got a 3-pack I have used. This is, I think, the first marker I ever used. Oops, sorry. I think this is the first marker I ever used. And like I said, it was a bigger boy. It was scary to use because I was trying to do very fine detail on my truck to do those windows. So you can imagine how difficult that was without getting on the paint. But yeah, you just have different marker sizes, and they're all very useful. So getting into the more technical of it, now that we've got the doors, we've done the door jambs of my semi. For the 32 Ford, because I haven't really done a video on the 32 Ford build. Give me one sec here, because... So, for the 32 Ford, let's get... So, I'm going to do the outline here of the window, is my goal. There's not a lot of chrome. I don't want to do any chrome lines or like that on this. This would be a hot rod, but the center where the windshield would be would have chrome in it. So I'm going to very finely find my line. Oh, sorry, guys. All I'm doing is just tracing the edge. There's a raised edge there on that windshield. Or windshield outline, I should say, where chrome actually would be. And I'm just following the marker's edge along that. Alright, this is where the moment of truth is. Going on the inside. Alrighty. And will you focus? Now I know it's kind of hard to spot because it's a bit of a spot there. I want to hit back up. I want it to be as uniform as possible. But you can see it. You can actually see it in the camera. I know it's out of focus, but that's the thing. You can see the light of it actually reflecting off of it as I move it back and forth. That's what's really just great about this liquid chrome. It's just a really great tool to have and add to your toolbox. So, yeah, I mean, and that's it. It's such an easy thing. We just did huge detail pieces or detail work on these models. And what did that take? A couple seconds? Couple minutes tops. I mean, we've only been live for 19 minutes. So, and there's more that I'm gonna actually probably do. Actually, I think since we're live, let's do it. Let's just do it here together. Use some of my tools that I have at my disposal, which is really stupid, but we're gonna do this. So what I'm looking at, let me zoom in here so you can see. What I'm looking at doing is I'm looking at there are brackets across this mud flap. And I think it would look cool if I colored those in. I'm trying to have a steady hand here because I am propping this up on a water bottle. Here we go. I was having flow issues for a second there. So you guys can see the difference. This side over here versus this side. It pops. It looks, more distinct, more unique. And then I'm going to go over here on the top. I'm going to do the top portion. I don't know if you can see. Oh. I'm just doing the top real quick. That's just it. You can always make your models. I don't want to say you can always make them better. You can always add more detail. It's finding when you want to stop is the thing. For me, there's a bunch of other things I want to do to this truck, but it's one of those things, like, I haven't added decals to it. I will definitely do that actually sometime soon. But then, yeah, I can do the back sides of here. This is going to be more of a tricky operation. I'm really being stupid here trying to do this so you guys can see it. Let me do that. And no, I never ever normally do this way when I'm building a model. But I want you guys to be able to see it. That's the thing is your passion, your ideas. So there's another part here that I could do in Chrome that I'm heavily thinking about doing in Chrome. Again, to add more detail. So if you see these support ribs running into the truck, I think we're going to color those. So I'm just go in. Go up to the tip of the bracket. And I'm just coloring the top rib. I'm going to move down, color the lower rib. Get a little bit on the side as well, because again, this is a three-dimensional object. I'm going to move to the other side, and then for the top part of the rib, the big part, I'm just going to use a bigger marker. for this shot, I'm going to have to hold it this way because I just can't do it the other way. Alrighty. Now I did get a little bit of a miss. So what I'm going to do... I don't have that blue color in a chrome marker. But what I do have is I have a black. And that's what's really cool about these markers. You would never know that I got chrome everywhere. So, then like I said, I wanted to use a different marker since I'm going to a bigger surface. And I don't want to waste all of the, use the right tool for the right job. You don't use a sledgehammer to knock in a nail, but at the same time, I don't want to use a jeweler's hammer to knock in a nail. There you go. How's that look, guys? Huh? Get a little zoomy in there. Right? That's looking like something, huh? And seriously, guys, that's all it takes. Those markers, they're outstanding. They're so useful. I did put a link in the YouTube page for these, but they're, like I said, the ones I have are Molotow liquid chrome. They are, I don't want to say on the pricey end. I think it's like $30 for 3 of them of different sizes. But yeah, just throwing that out to you guys. Super useful tool. Let's switch back to yeah, super useful tool. I really enjoyed how they come out, how they work. They have so many uses, and like I said, I'm not sitting there with foil trying to go in and clean something up or like that. And so you can get a lot of things done, and also you can do repair work on if you've snipped something too close or something like that. So it's also a decent fix-it tool. The other markers, maybe I'll do a review sometime. I mean, I did use one in the video, but not intended. It's just got messed up. So, but we're going to do another one because this is a special Thursday. We're going to do our 10th of the Crafter's Art this week, today, in about an hour, I'm thinking. I have it scheduled for 5:30. I didn't know how long this was going to take. So, but we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about filler. I like to call it filler. Modeling putty. Because as I have a semi-tractor trailer, I want to have a reefer trailer for it to pull, because that's what I use at work. So, no, I don't drive a truck, but I do work in trucking. So I am building an exact replica of one of the trucks that we have. So yeah, more to come on that, guys. I'm going to get things set up, take a quick break. But please, like, follow, subscribe. You guys really help out the channel if you can share this. Let us, other people know, hey, look at this. This is how this guy does this. Maybe these are not just for modeling, but that's what I try to start this channel for. Is hey, this is this useful thing that you can try and use. But I will see you guys in the next one. We'll be back live here in about 30 minutes to an hour. I will see you guys in the next one.